Boom, baby. Time to go live. What's up, everybody? This is Jose Trujillo, world's greatest living artist. I'm here in my studio. I hope you guys can see this. Those of you who can't, guys, watch it. All right, here we go. Here we go. Just leave it like this. Boom. Somebody told me that the paintings that I do seem a little bit rushed and whatnot, and I don't know, just stuff people make up, you know, stories people make up in their mind. And I just want to remind other artists out there, be careful with what people tell you about art. Only you know what you're doing, okay? Only you know what you're doing. After a certain time that you're doing artwork, I know this is going to sound maybe a little pretentious, but you should be very, very aware of what you're doing. And you shouldn't really be taking feedback, okay? You should keep your eyes and ears open, but you shouldn't be taking feedback just from everybody anymore. Okay? As a matter of fact, I'm one to think you should never take feedback from just anybody, maybe from your professors or your mentors. But you got to be careful. Even with mentors and professors, you got to be careful because they might be holding you back and not realizing that. Okay? It's very easy to hold people back, to be held back by someone. It's very, very easy. Most people are not aware of it, but most criticism in art is meant to hold people back. Okay, most of it. I would say about 99% of it, it's meant to hold someone back. Criticism in art, even if it's like well meant or whatever, it still has very little grounds. Most artists, guys, that work hard at their craft don't need feedback or criticism. What they need is encouragement. The only criticism that I think that is valuable for an artist is the criticism to work harder. Okay? It's don't work so slow, don't take forever to work. Work harder. That's really the only criticism that is more intelligent. The rest of it is just ego stuff. And again, it's one of those things that it's not so easy to understand because most of us have been trained to accept forms of criticism that are not good for you. They're not good for us. And they hide, those criticisms hide as... And now it's easy to say, right? Because most people say, well, don't pay attention to criticism. It's very hard to not pay attention to criticism when you're starting out. Even when you're rolling, it's very hard. You really have to make a conscious choice. Criticism doesn't matter when you're not doing anything. When you're doing something, criticism will start showing up. Like if you start exhibiting, if you start hitting it in your Instagram, in your YouTube, whatever, that's where criticism amplifies. Criticism is almost non-existent unless you're doing something. So I'm trying to tell artists out there, look guys, make sure that you don't pay attention to it. This is oil. It's not watercolor or acrylic. This is oil. And so, as artists, it's very important to understand that, guys, that you want to be so busy that criticism is one of those things that it's just it's a muffled sound. It's like the sound of the street when you're paying attention to where you're going. You're not really paying attention to the sound of the street. It's there in the background, but you don't want to pay attention to it because it's not for you, right? It's just sound. I know I've been getting some emails from people that tell me how to deal with criticism, how to deal with negativity and all that kind of stuff. You don't deal with it. I brush it off. You don't deal with it. That's the way you deal with that. You walk away from it, and you get so busy that you don't pay attention to it. Again, it's usually people that are closest to you, or it's people that are most don't mean bad, but doesn't mean they don't do harm because they don't mean bad. Most just want to sound intelligent. They're like, oh, I got an insight about this. But most people that will criticize you are not doing what you are doing, or usually have no authority on the subject. It's just theoretical, it's like some criticism based on theory. So that's how you deal with that, guys. Whoop. This is one of my Faubist awesomeness. Usually most of the problems that occur as an artist is they happen because you're not moving. You're not doing enough. So most criticism, you're going to find it to bother you when you are moving slow. When you're moving hard, you won't even pay attention to it because your attention is not there. Every time you move slow, you're going to start doubting yourself, and therefore criticism is going to start coming in, and it's going to start bothering you. So make sure you stay very busy. By the way, criticism is not just exterior; it's also an interior force. It's an internal force. It could be your limiting beliefs. It could be the voice of your mother, your father in your mind, repeating itself. Why did I do this? Why didn't I become a surgeon? Why didn't I study law? And or all kinds of other stuff, right? That run in your mind. Or I never got good at this. I can't believe I've been at this for so long, and I still haven't found success or whatever. Criticism is also a very internal power, and it's not a power, but it looks like a power. It can't have power over you if you don't recognize that. You don't deal with it, guys. Okay. That's just what I want to leave you. You don't deal with it. You outwork it. You move away from it. You move away from it by outworking, by removing your attention from it. Anything you give attention to, you give power. Okay? Energy flows where attention goes. Anything you give attention to, you're giving it power. If you give it power, if you give it attention, you will give it power. And if you give it power, it will empower you. It will either take power away or empower you. Paint thinner? No, I'm not using paint thinner, turpentine. I'm using walnut oil as paint thinner. This is my paint thinner. This I wash my brush with this. This is not cheap. It's about $10 for something like this. I buy it in gallons. Okay, so the gallon's about $100. There's different things to use. Some artists use over-the-counter walnut oil. I don't, because I got used to the one I'm using, so I just don't. Not because I'm above it or anything. I'm so used to using this one that I don't really. Hi Jose, do you usually varnish your paintings? I don't varnish my paintings. I stay away from the whole varnishing thing. It slows me down. It's another one of those things that varnishing art, it's just an extra step that I don't like taking. I'll leave that to the galleries. I'll leave that to the museums. Not even galleries do that. I leave that to the museums. Like if a museum starts acquiring my work, they can varnish it if they want to. Early on in my career, I realized that there's all these little stoppers and these little things that make everything more, all these added steps that I saw most artists doing that I didn't want to do. I realized not just physical but also mental. All these little, steps like oh, I have to have a bio in order to exhibit. Like little things like that. And varnishing was one of those that I was like, nah, I'm staying away from varnishing. For me, right? You varnish a painting once it's cured. Most artists varnish it when it's dry. Dry is just dry to the touch, exterior. Cured is when it's no longer gooey, right? And so I paint very thick at times. And because I paint very thick, varnishing can be a little tricky because if it's not fully cured, meaning dried all the way from the inside out, what's going to do is that it might crack it. And I know some varnishes say that they don't crack and on and on and on and on. I don't want to deal with the science of it. Usually to varnish something, you have to wait about 4 to 6 months on oil painting. So I stay away from that just because of the mechanics of that. And it's not something you need as an artist to varnish something. You don't really need to. Museum can do it if they want to. They can have fun with that. The funny thing is that, yeah, wait like 4 months. Usually that's the rule of thumb. Although most artists that sell their work, they varnish right after like a couple of weeks. Dry to the touch. But the best thing to do for oils is to wait about 4 months, and then you can varnish it. The interesting thing is that most museums are taking the varnish off of paintings today to reveal the color of the artwork. So, and not just because the varnishes were different, supposedly less quality than what we're using today, and on and on. I was a varnish, lacquer, and paint technician before I was a full-time artist. I learned quite a few things about varnishing, and the stuff that we have today is really no different than the stuff we had back in the day. It's the same thing. It's just new technologies. People are they're just messing with new stuff, trying to make it more water resistant, biodegradable, and on and on and on and on. But it's pretty much the same stuff. Check it out. Check it out. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Take care. I will talk to you soon. Gotta go and do some more work. By the way, if you like this painting, go check it out on my eBay site. The link is in my profile these paintings and others are going to be on my eBay, and I'm auctioning them very local for the auction starts at 99 cents. So I mean, go figure that one out. I'm very cray. Most resellers are selling this works between 900. I've seen it between 900. This size between 900 and $1,600. Most resellers. It's just freaking crazy that I start them at 99 cents. Still, I don't even know why I still do that. Well, I do know. I want to be able to share my work with as many people as possible. My wife is asking me to stop now. She's asking me to stop auctioning them at $1. I think she's very intelligent for asking me that, but I don't know how long I'm gonna continue doing that. Yeah. The paintings are just it's 16 by 20. The paintings are just flying out because of the auctions, and I'm going to tell you guys something. If you guys are not buying artwork right now at the auctions, you're missing out. If you like my work on eBay, the link is in my profile here on Instagram. You guys are like really missing out. Here's why. You know that I'm not going to do this forever, right? I'm not going to be auctioning them. I've only done that to make a name for myself, guys. I'm not going to do this forever. Okay, this painting is anywhere between $900 and $1,600. I've seen it. Resellers are selling them for that price. When I sell a painting, I gotta go with the resellers. I can't try to sell it less. I'm gonna shoot myself on the foot. And by me auctioning them at $1, it's like it's the greatest. I think it's one of the greatest things I've done in my life. Getting a piece that I would normally sell at $1,200-$1,600 in a gallery, and putting it on an auction, on an eBay auction, it's really fucking ridiculous. And it's really ridiculous that I continue to do that after a few years. And I'm telling you, if you don't jump and get yours, or get as many as you can, if you like the work, you're gonna be a little sad, because I'm not gonna do this forever. I got other stuff going on now, and I don't know how long I'm gonna continue to do this. So anyways, guys, I'll leave you with that. My name's Jose Trujillo. Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.